We're out here in Harbin, China, and I came across this, which I believe is a British taxi. I don't know how or why it's over here. I don't think I've seen any of them around. That's the first one. So yeah, we're in Harbin, China. I just visited a gold shop where you can buy bullion but as jewelry, and the good thing about doing that is, like, when you go through customs or whatever, you know, like, they limit the amount of money that you can get, but they don't limit I mean, the amount of money you can bring, but they don't limit jewelry. Here in Harbin, we just got off the metro, which costs $2 for most trips, $3 if it's a little further, and then in other cities where it's complex, the price can go up, but rather affordable. Bus is $1, so really cheap, and that's a yuan, so that's 15 cents. You know, whereas $2 is 30 cents. So right now we're walking to go to a seamstress to have our clothes tailored. Really cheap here. You know, maybe 10 yuan, $1.50 an item, something like that. Maybe even cheaper, 5 yuan. So, you know, whatever, 15 cents times 5, 75 cents. Well, it's a good deal, so we might as well do it. Clothes in the hand. Rocking out today. We've got jewelry. So this is it. Beautiful, you know, late afternoon. Sun's going down. This is actually a poor neighborhood, poor area of Harbin. But still safe, remarkably safe. I got a little night market going on down here. A bunch of small vendors selling, you never really know what until you go down and look. So we're looking for a bus stop right now. Kind of just winging it. You see all these buses, there'll just be crazy trains of buses that travel within inches of each other to make sure no cars cut them off. It's completely ridiculous. Well, it's not ridiculous, it's just what they do. You got buses that will run red lights. Just completely different animal from America. If the red light is like at a three-way intersection and they know it's safe, they're just gonna blast right through it. It just is what it is. And you know, I've been here going on 4 months. I've seen 2 accidents, one involving a motorcycle, the other one involving a car, and the cars were when it was raining. I grew up thinking that Asians and Chinese people couldn't drive. I've actually figured out that they drive more skilled than us. They drive better than us, but they also drive very crazy to the point where we don't expect, or well, here in China you do expect people to cut you off, come within inches of you. In America, of course, we do not expect that. In America, if someone cuts you off and you hit them, it's their fault. Here, if they cut you off and you hit them, it's your fault. At least much more so. Can't work with your ego here. You just gotta work with the collective, and if you can pump your brakes because the asshole cut you off, pump your brakes, and he's not really an asshole. It's just how everybody drives. They don't, on right turns, they're not gonna stop. It's gonna blast right through. You'll have major intersections almost as crowded as this with no street lights or signs or anything, and somehow people just navigate through. You got, you know, stuff you see here. See the old woman on the bike is just incredible. On the daily basis you'll see, you know, a dog on a electric scooter with a guy, or 3 people on a 3-wheeled bike, driving through city streets like this, people walking through city streets. It is just chaotic. It's controlled chaos. Something we couldn't imagine. And you got cars parking on sidewalks, motorcycles driving on sidewalks, regular basis. Just what it is. Passing a river. Maragos River. Used to be polluted, now it's nice and clean, or at least relatively so. So we're going down trying to find the correct bus for us to get to the seamstress. Some buses will stop for you when it's not a bus stop, others won't. They're not supposed to, I think. So better off to find a bus stop. So it appears that we're not going to have to take the bus. We usually get a Didi Dacha or whatever it is, like the Chinese Uber. More recently we've been trying to take the bus, but we are thinking that it's pretty close, so we're just going to walk. And you see these things, they'll carry stuff to you, they will carry you short distances. You see that one's locked up with a sort of frame, but this one, it's like a bike. This one as well. Still walking. Tons of shops, because everybody lives in basically, you know, high-rise buildings, so dense populations. And then there's also underground. The best shops are underground, many stories underground. So we're actually probably going to take the bus from here. But as I was saying, the best deals you can find, the best shopping is underground. The rent's probably the cheapest. And from what I've noticed, the deeper you go, the better the price is. And that is just, seems to be a rule. So now we're on the bus, headed to the seamstress. So we're back on foot, crossing the street. You can see countdown signs right there. Trying to focus in, but telling pedestrians that, drivers and pedestrians that the light's, you know, going to change in whatever 50 seconds. So you can make more informed decisions as opposed to just telling pedestrians. And I when I said it's incredibly safe, the poor areas, I mean, like, you're not going to get mugged, but you can get pickpocketed. And if you keep valuables in the back pocket sticking out, you're here for a long time, chances are you will get pickpocketed. Which is why I have a man purse, or whatever this thing is called. So yeah, just want to clarify that it is not safe and that you cannot get jacked. It is safe that you will not get mugged or assaulted or killed for such things. And even holding the phone out like this in a highly dense area could be problematic. Somebody could rip the phone from you, hand it off to somebody else, and you know, you're the foreigner, they are the local. It's going to be a harder sell for anyone to believe. You know, you can take the dude down that took your phone, but if he doesn't have anything, it's kind of going to fall on you. So it's not going to be, don't expect to be treated entirely fairly in a situation like that. So you definitely can't let your guard down per se, but It's not as bad as if you're traveling into Latin America, you know, which has suffered our unfortunate effects of our drug war, corruption, you know, drug cartels and all those things that, and just the machismo culture, a completely different culture in China. They don't have that. They have a family structure where acting like that would be seen as low class and disrespectful to, you know, most of their families. So there we go, getting close to the seamstress's home. Looks like there is a wedding or something going on. So we're walking down the alley, and it's kind of why I wanted to videotape the whole experience, because this is a very sketchy looking place. Yeah, it could be, you know, people could be dropping something on you. I mean, it just looks very sketchy. Oh. And I don't know how it looks at night, but even in daytime it looks sketchy. And yet it's completely safe. I mean, there's always aberrations. There's always exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, you're alright. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, no other American has ever walked through this place, but still safe to do so. And, you know, in other parts of China that would be kind of ridiculous to say, but this is more of a northern isolated part of China where they don't see too many Americans. A lot of Russians. Everyone thinks I'm Russian. Will come up and say, you know, you know, trying to sell something, хорошо, which is good, or красивая, which is beautiful, or здравствуйте, saying hello, trying to get my business. So this is her home right here. Walking up the stairs. This poor area. So we are done. Drop the clothes off. Now she's walking us to wherever we're going, who knows. It's a local market. See some of the stuff they're selling. Walking down just on the sidewalk. People got their little shops open. One thing you notice when you first get to China is just how thriving it is. Of course, not in the countryside, but in the cities. It just appears to be booming. The economy is booming, and that's not to say there isn't, you know, shops that have closed down. In malls, you'll see like maybe the very bottom floor, if it's underground, or the very top floor, or a couple upper floors are basically empty, just used for storage or closed down. But just seems like a much more thriving area, and you know, that's largely or in part due to the fact that it is just cities are way more densely populated. Even high government officials live in apartments. Almost everybody lives in an apartment style home, you know, at least 5 stories, often above 20 stories. So, you know, that explains it. There's just a much bigger population to support a bunch of small businesses, and also have this appearance of a thriving economy. Shoe shopping on the street. If this was in America, my first impression would be that these shoes are stolen, but China, regular business, and very, very unlikely that they are stolen. Well, they've stolen the trademark, you know, there's trademark infringement. Surely got some New Balances, alleged New Balances, but not an actual material theft, only intellectual theft, which in Chinese culture just isn't seen the same way. When you copy somebody, it's like showing respect to the master. There's a refreshing twist. You know, their population is much bigger than that of the West, so why should they conform to our ideas? And they have a booming economy. Their civilization's much older than ours. It's been much more stable than ours. So they have justifications to not just go and conform and become police of their people in a way that violates their own people's culture. So you see quite a few knockoffs, copies, often with slight variations that are done on purpose, you know, to appease the government, which is, you know, appeasing the Western governments, the Western corporations that feel they are losing a large chunk of their profit margin due to these copies. But that said, different system, and you know, learning sociology or whatever, you can't really knock it. It's different, and it's not better, it's not worse, just different. And as you can see, nobody cares too much about organized parking. It's more like just park in the side of the road. Say hi, Beba. Hi. And the difference between how it takes place in America and how it takes place in China, and I mean the nightlife, it's in my opinion much better in China. You go out, you can eat, you can drink. You're not going to be charged an arm and a leg for a beer. You're going to be charged, you know, $1.50 for a beer, USD, or you know, say around 10 yen. You're not going to be charged for parking. You're just going to fucking park wherever the fuck you feel like it. Excuse my language. You know, then it's not everyone is trying to rip each other off. Now, being a foreigner, they might want to, you know, slip you an English menu. I've heard that have higher prices. I haven't seen it, but I'm sure it's possible. They're going to want to try to get your money, but the capitalist culture is not so dominant here in China, and it is quite refreshing. You go, you pay for a meal, you don't get charged an arm and a leg in tax, you don't have to pay a tip, you just pay a flat bill, usually very cheap relative to what you would pay in America, and without all these hidden fees and costs of going out at night. And you celebrate, have fun with friends, eat and drink, and you can do it day after day for damn cheap. Here comes a bus. I don't know if it's ours. Another cool thing is with their Uber feature here, you can carpool to make it even cheaper, but as a rule it's already pretty cheap, cheaper than it would be in America. I guess it's not our bus. Another thing is, if you're intoxicated, you don't have to worry about getting arrested for public intoxication. If you want to take your beer home with you, you can do that. You can walk home with your beer in your hand. Not a big deal. You can take the beer onto the bus, you can take the beer onto the train, you can take the beer open anywhere you feel like it, drink and enjoy the free society. And that's, I attribute that to, in America there's, it's a country of immigrants, and they use that to pretty much tell you that immigration should never stop. And when they come, the power structure definitely plays off of it, divides the population, has scapegoats. People come in from new places, they have different cultures that offend the predominant culture, and rules get implemented, the government gets stronger, people are against each other, people blame each other, and there's this kind of blame thing going on in America, so we get regulated on everything. You got people over here driving without helmets, right there's, riding without helmets, going on the wrong side of the road. Not a big deal. You got people, nobody's wearing seat belts. Not a big deal. Unfortunately, people will smoke anywhere they please. Not a big deal to them. Drink anywhere you please. Of course, drunk driving is definitely illegal. Using your cell phone while driving is illegal. But the thing is, in China, you basically cannot use your cell phone while driving. That would be extremely dangerous. If I could only have videotaped everything I have seen while being in China, it is incredible, the close calls that I've seen, just the way people act, drive on cars and motorcycles, way people walk across densely populated streets like nothing, with cars whizzing by within inches of them. You definitely do not want to use your cell phone here. And this guy just honked at me. I've almost been hit by scooters, I feel, several times. Definitely have to be aware, you should be aware of your surroundings. But then again, I think close calls over here is like a daily occurrence. Nobody even pays any mind to it. But yeah. Night market, you got houses right above it, building bigger houses in the background. You got what appears to be nasty emissions from several polluting internal combustion motors in these vehicles. I don't know, but anyway, looks like a cloud of smog around. Can't smell anything, thank God, but are you sure this is a bus stop, babe? Dude, rolling up, partying. Party's in the house. It's going down. Oh yeah, baby. Should just get funky right here and start dancing. Oh, this is my favorite jam. Here. Getting on the bus. One yuan. We made it on the bus. So again, with The exchange rate from USD, you're paying 15 cents for this ride. And it's not just with the exchange rate. They keep it affordable for, for the poor. Communist Party is coming up on its 100-year anniversary. When they reach that mark, they're attempting to have eliminated extreme poverty. You don't see homeless people around. The homeless people are in a state of transition. Having a bunch of homeless people is seen as something, as a barbaric system. And that's just something. Chinese is a collectivist society, but that's also a communist thing. In the Soviet Union, it was the same thing. They would give homeless people a place to live. The same thing that goes on in North Korea right now. They take care of their people. Of course, the Pentagon spends $1 billion a year basically lying to the American public, making us think the worst of whatever government isn't completely cooperating with Washington's and their cronies' desires to extract the resources of any nation they choose to and install, the same banks that they're enslaved with themselves. I'm sure a bunch of people, including my family that watch this, aren't going to agree with me, but it's the truth. You go to America nowadays, you see homeless people everywhere. Here, poorest neighborhoods, richest neighborhoods, you practically or almost never ever see them. We're talking about a country with a population 5 times the size of America and much less favorable land. They don't have the protected bays. They don't have the rivers that facilitate transportation. They don't have the large swath of farmland that we do. Much of the eastern part of the country is like a desert. Can't grow much out there. Can't cultivate land. Population 5 times the size, and yet they've managed to have basically no homelessness. So that's not much to be said for the Pentagon and America's idea of creating a good society for American government's idea of creating a good society for its people. And look at Canada, super cold, way less inhabitable land, way less farmland, not as many resources, and yet their middle class is doing better than ours because our government has basically squandered our future, squandered the gifts that we were given to try to conquer the world. We got estimate some like 900 bases around the world. We have an empire dedicated to basically stealing resources for the rich of our country at the expense of everybody. The corporatocracy, they have an allegiance to each other. They do not have an allegiance to America. They do not have allegiance to the American people. This is what it is. And the Pentagon uses our tax money to convince us otherwise. And they will continue to do that. They will continue to try to propagandize us, not only through the usual means of mainstream media, but also now with social media and working with Google to censor us and defund independent news resources, people that aren't owned by big conglomerations, people that are getting out the real truth. They're fighting a war on us, a war on the people. It's not something that's going on in China and some other countries, and you can see the benefit of it, even as that same empire is against them. And they are the David and we are the Goliath, and it's getting more and more obvious that they are winning. But of course the fight's not over. You got global warming, climate change coming more into play, extreme weather conditions. There's going to be famines, you know, there's going to be moves, and who knows if the deep state, if those guys will win in the end. I know they're pressuring China to get the banks in here. I think they already have, you know, which is basic ploy to enslave everybody, take their land from them, take their businesses from them. Yeah, so of course, you know, we don't know who will win in the end, but right now, there's something to be said about this great country with a great history. One of the Russian-style churches. Again, the city is close to the Russian border, and there is a rather heavy Russian influence that the Chinese and the communist government decided to preserve, and you see it throughout the city. From Russian signs over rivers, from the Russian churches, from the food, Russian-style sausages, beers, soft drinks, architecture, a lot of stuff. Very old building right there. We got a roundabout. Yeah, very old building that the city decided to keep. European-esque architecture, and the mall we just passed with the old structure that they decided to keep. Right there, there's actually several malls under the ground. It goes 3 stories, at least 3 stories deep. And it is just immense. I mean, you can go in there 4 days straight and not see the whole thing. It is mind-boggling. A maze. But the lower you go, cheaper the prices get. And they sell retail, they sell wholesale. You know, smaller markets, people go there and buy in bulk and then resell, you know, closer to their home or closer to the, you know, a local market, but people don't have time to go searching through the maze to find their stuff. So there is a metro station. We could have got off the bus and took the Harbin Underground. Again, that's $2, 2 yen, yuan. Where this is only 1. See a guy right there. What he actually is doing is delivering food. Or there's Mao. These guys, for very cheaply, you can go on China's or go through China's WeChat app and go on, order food, pay for food, and have it brought straight to your house very cheaply. And it's not like 10 restaurants, it's like a ridiculously large amount of restaurants you can choose from. You know, most of them are Chinese. You can also do Pizza Hut. McDonald's, stuff like that, any of the American chains that have entered this market. So right now we're getting on a raised road. There's a lot of these around China. They're basically giant bridges that run on top of the city, much like an American freeway, but with slower speeds and slower speed limits. And one major difference on these as opposed to American freeways is you'll see pedestrians on them, you'll see bikes on them, scooters on them, of course. Now this is actually just a bridge, it looks like. There's good old KFC. Basically the same food, a little different. They use more mayonnaise for sure. When comparing chicken sandwiches, McDonald's and KFC fried chicken sandwiches, here McDonald's has better chicken sandwiches. They have a real chicken, whole chicken sandwich. There's another metro exit, and I was talking to a business partner of ours who actually did business with a guy who sells chickens to McDonald's, and he was saying, don't worry, the chicken's really good. They sell really good chicken to McDonald's, don't worry about it, it's really good, really good quality chicken. And he goes, unfortunately they do things to make the chickens grow up really fast, but really good chicken. So yeah, anyways, I don't know if it's better than America. I wouldn't be surprised. For the most part, I would say American food is higher quality, but maybe different at McDonald's in China. I don't know. We've all heard of the city that never sleeps. This is like the country that never sleeps. And of course, like the underground, the shops, the wholesale markets, they do close early. They open early, they close early. You're going to be out of there by 5. Other restaurants and such, they stay open quite late. You can see the guys right there on the scooters. That guy in the red, he might have actually been a KFC. No, KFC employees I think wear yellow, but he's a food deliverer. They all use WeChat here, which is an app that allows you pretty much to do anything. You can hire a housekeeper, buy food, meet people very quickly, get their information very quickly through a QR code that WeChat gives you. You can pay through it. You can operate without cash in this society, very easy, without cards, without cash. Pay through your phone. Very easy usually to do. You pay, with Apple phone, or any phone that has your biometrics, you can pay through, your fingerprint, prove the payment. So we got off the bus and we're gonna get something to eat. This is a mall. I've done a video through this mall before. This is actually where I go to a gym. It's a ghetto gym. I'll do a video on that. 100 yen a month, but Jazz has got it, so I've gotten about 3 months for 100. Yeah, so we're gonna go get something to eat. Quick meal. As you can see, the mall is 6 stories high, wraps around. There's a whole bunch of different restaurants, all you can eat restaurants, coffee shops, bookstore coffee shops. You can definitely find American inspired food. I think I did a video on this place. It's the all-you-can-eat pizza restaurant where you can cook stuff. There's beer, all-you-can-drink beer. I've eaten here. Really tasty, very cheap place. You can feed 4 people for about 15 bucks. Well, we are going to a different place. Last time we went to this place, she ordered fish and they brought the fucking fish out in a bag, weighed it. It was alive, suffocating. Really made me lose my appetite. You know, I'm trying to be halfway vegan, and I don't like seeing animals suffer. This is where we're eating. Headed to the restroom. Finding the restroom, I just go Shisho Chenma and do the little Shisho Chenma, do the little hand sign like I'm washing my hands, and they usually can point me in the right direction. Usually it's a crapshoot if they have Western style toilets or the dreaded Chinese toilet. How it usually and definitely not always goes down is the nicer joints, they'll have Western toilets. This mall is basically this is for the middle class. So you're gonna find Chinese toilets. The Starbucks here, thank God, has a Western toilet. But if you go to an upscale mall, you know, where they sell designer brands, Italian brands, you're probably going to find Western toilets. Which is the only thing I use. This is our meal we're eating. It's, I don't know if you guys recognize the dish. It is real authentic northern Kung Pao chicken. I think there's a little differentiation of what they, well, actually from restaurant to restaurant there's differentiation. In Beijing and that area, I think it's more sweet. I don't know. I haven't paid attention, but I do know there's a difference. Peppers they use. One time I actually ate it with celery. Was not good. Do not recommend putting celery in Kung Pao chicken. Always has spicy peppers though. Then we got a salad. The funny looking stuff is tofu. We got some vegetables. They're almost like, kind of like aloe. See, like aloe vera, like an aloe plant. Not much flavor. It's the sauce, the extras that give it the flavor. So that's it. We did last night. We went and had all you can eat, and we're trying to keep it small today. Just small, healthy, quick dish before we go home. I forgot the other bottom story, the carport. So we finished up with a meal. It was 55 bucks. So that's about $8, a little bit over $8. And now we're making our way home. And from this level, you can actually access the underground. So straight from the mall to the underground, and that's how a lot of them are set up. They have multiple exits, different sides of the street, and different areas of commerce. So this is the exit to the underground. You got fish over here, big fish on this side, little fish on this side. This is the underground. They call this a wall of answers. It's all in English. It will affect how others see you. This is a good time to make a new plan. The circumstances will change very quickly. It is something you won't forget. Pay attention to the details. Anyways. They don't want me filming down here, so turn it off after we make this turn. Oh, it's a shame. They had this all done up with plastic wrap all around, but they just took it down.